I've got a surprise. Ta-da! We officially have the in-ground garden space done. I got a surprise this morning when Jarrett from Young Land Designs called me and said, hey, I'm loading up the tractor. I'm headed to your place. And I said, I'm coming. And so here we are, and I want to show you around. So here we've got 7 rows. This is 28 feet wide in total by 68 feet long. And I've got this lovely walk-through trellis area that we're gonna have. These are not obviously set up yet. They're just kind of put in place where they're gonna be so I could get some things in the ground, and I wanna kind of share with you about what we're gonna do. So these first 2 rows are going to be cut flowers. I'm gonna do cut flowers here. I've got a lot of things that I want to do in this space, and this is just the first expansion of the garden space. It's going to go to about right there eventually. So I'm going to do some cut flowers here, do like a donation only type thing, and hopefully get a little bit of funds that are coming in to kind of help with this expansion. But the first thing that I planted in here, from here to about this area, is buckwheat. I don't know if y'all have ever seen buckwheat before, but it is gorgeous, and it is a pseudo grain, which I thought was really cool. It can be ground into flour, and they're beautiful. It had really great reviews. So that's going to be the beginning of the cut flower garden. I don't have any other seeds in here yet for either of these 2 rows, as I was getting some other things in. But in the beginning of this area here, I've got some African Noonan basil, some cardinal basil, and some blue spice basil. These are going to be really great for teas, but also when they send up these stalks like this, when you see that, those are really beautiful additions to bouquets, and they add a lot of smell, like very fragrant smell to flowers. So I planted those here in the beginning. So I've got some fun things here, and then we'll have some other things there. I've got a comfrey planted at the front here of this trellis. The front trellis on each side is planted with loofah. If you've never seen loofah, I've got a big jar of seeds here. Once you grow it once, you'll have it forever. It is edible when it's small, but you can also use it for sponges. My intention with doing this right here is that I'm going to grow some heat tolerant greens underneath this trellis. So in the beginning of this trellis, the front half, I've got some sorrel. Everybody here loves sorrel. I don't have it planted yet, but I'm going to do like some Jericho lettuce and some other things on this side. So that'll be a fun experiment. On this side of the trellis, I have some baby bear pumpkins. This is the time to get pumpkins in, because if you have trouble, you might miss it for Thanksgiving. And then on this side, I'm doing some winged beans. I'm really excited about those winged beans. They were really cool. Here I've got some stevia, and then I kind of have a little gap right after the trellises in these 2 areas. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to plant there yet, but it's going to be something, I'm just not sure yet. We got a chamomile planted here, and then you can see I've got just a little like stick marker that I found in the garden. From this area back on these 2 rows are all different kind of beans. So on this side, we've got pink-eyed purple whole cowpeas on this side. On the other side, we've got dragon tongue bush beans, which are really beautiful. And this next set of markers, I have some dar cucumbers, which you can see right here. These are a bush type cucumber. They are really great. They are not as long to produce, but they're a bush, so you don't really need a trellis. I'm really excited about those. Here I'm growing a velvet bean. A friend so generously shared some velvet bean seeds with me, so I'm really excited to try these. I've got them growing down in the beds in here, and then on this other side I've got some zipper cream cowpeas. So this whole little area of beans I actually got planted maybe in like 20 minutes because my kids were out here and I said, hey, do y'all want to play a game with me? And I said, let's play this disappearing bean game. And so I would drop the beans everywhere I wanted them, and my kids would come and push them in the soil. So it's going to be a little bit of a fun experiment to see how they germinate and if they do well, but I think it'll be fine. The kids were really excited about it. So for me, that's a win. On the back areas of these rows, I have okra. Lots of okra planted in here. I do have a moringa planted in here. Moringa is like a wonderful superfood. I like to pull it off and add it to smoothies, or just munch on some leaves, or add it to my salads. Here I've got some strawberry popcorn. I actually ordered seeds. I ordered seeds for strawberry popcorn. They were delivered not to my mailbox, but to my house outside. I didn't realize it, and raccoons got in and they were everywhere. I can't find them now. I'd like put them in a napkin that was in my pocket somewhere, gone forever. So I'm saving the back area of this row for if I find the strawberry popcorn. I had a lot of people ask me on the last garden tour, where's the roselle? Where's all the roselle? You're not planting it. And I am. It's going here in this row. Roselle, in my experience, does really, really good in the ground. When it's in a raised bed, it grows and then it just flops over and falls, and it really becomes not very stable. But being in the ground, I find that it stands more upright and does a lot better. And I just feel like it's much more sturdy in the ground. It does so much better. Even with containers, I found that it kind of flopped over, and when it would flop over in a container, it would fall like this and the roots would start to kind of come out. So I really prefer putting it in the ground. I've been waiting on this space. I've got 4 planted here, and then I have another moringa. I have 3 more roselle that are at my farm. And honestly, I'm putting these in here a little bit nervously, and I'm hoping that it's going to be fine, because just over here, you can see this raised area. Just a couple nights ago, I saw 4 white-tailed deer. So I'm really hoping they don't come and wipe all this out. So if y'all want to say some prayers that the deer do not come. I actually planted some mountain mint and some other things that said they were deer resistant right along the edge. I don't remember what all of them were, but whenever I figure it out, I'll let you know. This area, and honestly, hindsight's 2020. I planted the peppers here. My peppers went on this row, and then I decided, oh yeah, I need to put the hibiscus in, and I put them here. Ideally, those hibiscus, probably the roselle would have been on this outside row, but I use roselle for salads often. So for me, I wanted them to kind of be a little bit closer to the other greens and things that are going to be going in the garden. I didn't want to put them all the way in the back. So they're going to be in the middle. They're going to be really bushy. They're going to kind of take up a lot of space. But once the peas and the beans come out, then I'll be able to put in some other things there. And I don't think it will be as big a deal. The thing to remember with roselle is it's going to be in the garden all the way until frost, because they are day length sensitive. So these plants are going to go in. They're going to grow, and I'm going to eat all of the leaves. I'm going to be picking leaves off, adding to salad, eating them fresh as I walk around. And then they'll start putting off those calices, and then I'll be able to harvest those in the fall. Probably, I want to say they start putting on in like September where I live. So they're going to be here the whole time. Over here, I've got my row of peppers and some marigolds. It was my first time ever using a row maker. So I kind of misjudged it on the front end, which left me with like not really a row over here. So what I've done on this front side is I sprinkled a lot of Egyptian spinach seeds, and then I'm gonna plant probably like some flowers that will come along this edge and kind of make a little border, hopefully, along this area to kind of keep the grass out and not just leave this completely blank. I've got lots of different peppers. This is going to be my tomato wall. So here, this trellis will come up here, and I've got lots of tomatoes over there that will go right in here. And then I'll have this row that's open, these front sections that I can plant, and I'll have that whole entire row there. and the space in the back that still needs to be planted. My plan for weed suppression is those bags of leaves, and on the other side I have a whole other trailer full of leaves. Once everything gets in and watered well and all of that, I'm going to be adding those leaves in. And then you can see I need to fold up these billboards that I've got over here. And those billboards are going to start going on this area. I'm going to start putting some billboards over here to kind of kill back some of this thicker brush that's here. But also I really want to start getting some chickens out here and letting the chickens work this area for me, and get that ready for when we expand in the future. My only hesitation is the bobcat. We're gonna have to see what happens with the bobcat, and I really don't want to risk it with my chickens. Honestly, I really want to make sure I have a very predator proof coop before I put them out here, because I have seen it multiple times. But I think this would be great to have the chickens working this area for us prior to planting, and then having our garden space here. So I'm super excited. We're gonna put a lot of other fun things in here. I have some brown cotton that I would really like to do at some point, whether that's now or in a future expansion that will be coming. I'll also start doing some potatoes and things later. The main reason I have so many beans is I promised Jarrett we would do some beans, and I kept the seeds so he didn't get to plant them, so I'm planting them for both of us here. But I am super, super pumped about the new garden space. Thank you so much, Jarrett, for coming in and helping me do that. My goal with this space is for this to be a one-time tilled area, build my rows, leave it, and never have to use that again. I've got all of these leaves, so I'm gonna be adding a lot of organic matter here that hopefully is gonna keep weed suppression down and really, really help me with that. And I am so excited to see lots of fun things hanging from these trellises and getting a lot of more people involved in the garden. Some of my kiddos' friends were here when we did the little bean challenge, and they were great. They loved it. It was so fun. I've got a couple of open spaces. I would love to know what you think could go in here, and if you've ever grown that Takani red buckwheat, I would love to know how it did for you. I would love for it to get to grains at some point so I could grind it down for flour. But it's my very first time to try it, so I'm doing a small space. I'm going to see how I like it and how it grows here, and if it does well, we might be adding to it. The other thing I'm thinking will go in here is I have some seeds for sun hemp, and I'm really thinking that I might start adding some things like that to the garden. So thanks for coming, check it out. If you're local, stop by sometime and come see me.